Uh, Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Very good evening to you, and a very happy Independence Day to all of you. I know you've been, probably looking forward for this kind of program every week, every weekend. Actually, I should say, we started this program something like first week of June, and over last 2 or 2.5 months or so, we've had about something like 2,000 participants who have either attended us program live, like this kind of platform, or would have seen our recordings on YouTube channels. That speak by itself. The number is pretty decent, and we'd like to render a very, very big thank you to all the viewers who have been consistently, watching our show or, looking forward to participating in this kind of session. Whatever we do, primarily, it's always for the benefit of, the education or education-related fields. So the Saturday evening talk show primarily concentrates or focuses with a spotlight on student. And TASA Asia as a company is driven by our passion in education management, I should say, and all the education related fields. So we work on the Indian soil, we work on international boundaries. Whatever we do as a whole, as I said, the spotlight is always on the student, directly or indirectly, always, including this particular show that we are talking about. So in this show, we try to bring in, relevant topics for education, studying overseas, academic planning, career planning and development, etc. But before we move on to today's topic, my dear friends, I'll just spend about 3.5 minutes to present a quick slideshow and introduce my company to you, and also the lead panelist and guest for today. That's Mr. Girish Panikar. You must have seen his picture on the promotion that we did for this kind of program. But before I would like to, before I proceed further, some ground rules for everybody who is on this show. That includes me too. Just 2 or 3 points only. First of all, the duration of this show is actually about something like 75 to 80 minutes. So please keep yourself on mute mode only. Please do not show up yourself. Do not put on your video at all, especially those guys who are with me on Zoom. So very critical. We don't want the whole thing to get disturbing at any point of time. Number two, there will be certain polls and questions that will come up that will be displayed on your screen, especially those guys who are on Zoom. And we'll expect you to, we'll give you a time frame of something like 10 to 30 seconds approximately, and we'll help you. We'll help you to understand this, and we will seek some kind of response from your side. That will be quick, something like multiple choice questions for you guys to answer. Maybe about 3 to 5 questions will come up. Only for Zoom. People who are joining us on some other social media platform like Facebook, etc., will only see the screen, will not be in a position to participate. So that's okay. And number 3 point, actually just that much. I'm supported on this show by my associates who are managing the backend and technology for helping me out. They'll be with us throughout the session. All right. With that, having said that, I will share my screen and run a small slideshow for you. There will be a voiceover, so you can probably test out your, the audio also.
The role played by TASA Asia is essentially to develop a working formula of success. That's not only right for you, but also fits your financial bill. We apply a scientific process to suggest next academic step, OR an overseas program or an institution, depending on your personal factors, skills and academic levels. We study your academic credentials, your goals, your career dreams to assess you and develop your very personal career path. We have a comprehensive study abroad platform for students. We offer international test prep coaching. Interested students are serviced from university application to admissions, the stay arrangement, the insurance, and many other pre-departure and post-landing services as you may need. We're also given resume enhancement services like immersions and internships abroad. We also have a range of vocations abroad program series to help students. And we also assist students for enabling services like advisory on scholarship, financial consultancy for studying abroad. Please contact us on our email at info@tasrasia.com or our phone number +91 99676 38666. TASA Asia, your preferred international education platform.
All right, so that was a pretty quick introduction to what we are and what we do as a company. You will still continue to see my screen for a short while from now. For another couple of minutes or so, I will just introduce you to the speaker for today. We are on talk show number 8. So that means precisely we are on 8th week today, and we've been doing this program for continuously for that much time. Today's topic, as you already know, is secret of parenting for teenagers and young adults. When I say teenagers and young adults, I'm trying to, create a bandwidth of something like people who enter, the students or children who enter the age group of something like 12 and 13 and over to 10 years from that time. So that means we're talking about between 12, 13 to something like 22, 23 years of age. And our guest tonight is Mr. Girish Panikkar. That's his picture, as you can see on your screen. He's a parenting coach and COO at a company with the name Scooping. He's also a founder of another company with the name Shaping Tree. That's something more about him. He's other credentials. He's certified in training and development from ISTD. He's a certified NLP practitioner, certified cognitive behavior therapist, COO at Scooping In, as I just mentioned, which is the world's largest digital marketplace for training industry. He's also the founder for Shaping Tree, which does training, which is a training and development arm. He does life coaching for performance, designing and delivering training programs. So that's about him. That's just a little brief about him. While the students or whoever is there on this kind of platform would be, having some kind of expectation by the single paragraph that you would have seen, but precisely what we are trying to achieve in this kind of, session to you, which comes directly from Mr. Girish. And I'll be seeking certain clarifications and questions to him. This is the kind of broad expectations we have laid down for today. So you're going to see, or we are going to hear something about the challenges and the consequences in parenting, responsibility beyond biological relationship that we enjoy with our children, family situations that we have all probably get into over a period of time, and probably a few small changes here or there can make some kind of large difference in maintaining a good family life, children expectations, both ways, from us to our children and vice versa. Probably these little changes, we are sure, is expected to bring in large academic performance difference in your child, which is what probably as parents of our children, we are surely interested in that. And it kind of shows up sometimes. Anyways, we're not going to have any more detail on this slide, but surely we're going to have certain situations being highlighted that we have gathered from our experiences, from our families or relationships, and we are going to check clarification to this from Mr. Girish as we proceed forward. I'm going to stop sharing my screen. You just see me, and with that, I think I'll request Mr. Girish to come online. Here he is. You can see him live on screen.
Thank you.
Good evening, Mr. Girish, and welcome to the show.
Thank you so much for having me here. It's a humbling and a privileged experience to be part of this, especially on such a wonderful day as the 74th Independence Day. So very happy Independence Day to all of us. Let's take it forward. Yes.
Thank you, and thank you. Same to you. Mr. Girish, you know that this session is primarily for students, young professionals, and parents primarily. Right. And we also have probably some teachers, professors, and education counselors who participate regularly on this kind of session on right. Zoom and some more social media platforms like Facebook, etc. As I repeat, as I've already told you, that the focus on the spotlight is always on the student. So while today's session is being attended not by students, but by their parents, But
Yes.
eventually, as a parent, I'm surely interested in how my child academic performance goes up and up. So, and
Correct.
that if there is any disturbance that comes up in his life because of me as a parent, I'm responsible to handle that out as a head of the family. Anyways,
Right.
we move forward with a little bit of introduction given to our audience, and then we'll come directly to certain questions that will come from you. At the end of the show, we also invite our audience to have time permitting. We'll also have the audience seeking certain clarifications, which could be probably personal to them, as long as if we find that they are generic in nature, we'll take them out. We'll take it up at the end of this discussion gets over. So viewers, let's come to now today's topic, and let me give you a quick intro to this. While we already know everything about it, I've just spoken about it also. Parenting as a subject is expected to come very, very natural to us, all living beings. So whether you're a father as a fish, or father as a crocodile, or father as a tortoise, or father as a human being, father as a monkey, or anything else that is living, is supposed to come. It's given. You can say that it is a God gift. It is supposed to come absolutely in a very natural format to all living beings. But still, when it comes to nurturing our own children, especially when they grow up and enter into teenage, all of us have been facing or will face some kind of challenge to take our children with us probably for next 10 years. So as I say, the bandwidth is about, say, 10 years of 12, 13 years of age to 20 to 23 years of age. So when we're talking about beyond the adulthood benchmark, which is 18 or more or 17 or more in some countries. Children develop their own personality, under strong influence from their parents, from their teachers, extended families that surround all of us, school, college, neighborhood, the entire social system. And I should say today, in today's world, the social media plays also a lot of critical role in doing that. Interestingly, even when everybody hopes to do good to our children, especially the parents or grandparents or the teachers, the knowingly or unknowingly, or fortunately unfortunately, the children take what they want to take, they inherit what they want to inherit, and we suddenly see a different kind of a unique person in front of us 3 or 5 years down the line, after he has entered the teenage format or the benchmark, which is about, say, 17 or 18 years of age. You will probably not It will not be surprising to find something that or it will be surprising to find something, I never taught him this. How the hell did he learn that? Now, that could be a good habit, bad habit, we don't know, and we don't want to care about that. But it is a unique human being that finally emerges or appears from somewhere. uh, that's happened to all of us in our life too, probably, when we were teenagers. And I'm not surprised if that same thing happens to our children too. So he is a unique person on earth at a certain point of time, different in some or all the way from his acquaintances that have influenced him rightly or wrongly. So Mr. Grish will be throwing some light today on possible factors that could probably go behind making of this person, and how responsible parents like us should play or could play a positive role to development of a teenage child. But before we move ahead, an opening poll will go on your screens. I will request admin to display the first opening poll to the on screen to all the attendees. Yes, that's where it goes for you. So I will. I don't want to read it out because probably I think I should read it out. Admin, I request you to please also put this slide so that the non-Zoom attendees can see this. I'll read out 2 questions for you. Do you feel handling a teenage child is a challenge, and you can change a bit? And the second question is, are you willing to adapt a little bit to yourself in the interest of making a better person for your child? Admin, yes, I think he's trying to put in a slide also. Yes, that's beautiful. You have, how much time do you have? 30 seconds. All right. The clock is ticking. Guys, please hurry up. Please be quick and try to answer this question quickly. So, Mr. Girish, this question will eventually come to you about what is the right way of how parents should look at this kind of 2 situations. There are people surprised. Okay, that's the end of the system. Share results. I think 30 seconds got over, and can you show the results, please, admin? All right, shortly the results are going to get displayed. But meanwhile, what is the right way to look at it, Mr. Girish?
Yeah.
I was actually surprised that some of them say that they're not willing to adapt themselves in the interest of making a better child of their of for
Yeah.
them.
See, when we talk about teenage, it's
Yeah,
not that a child suddenly gets into teenage, right?
absolutely right.
It's till 10 or 12 years, the parents have bought that child in a particular way, and then it gets into teenage where it is trying to find an identity for itself.
There
The
you see the
child,
poll results, Mr. Girish. So I'm
yes,
sure all
yes,
100% of them say that there is
it's a challenge.
certain challenge they are facing. But on the hindsight, there is at least one person who said
I'm not willing to change.
he's not willing to change. But
Yeah,
anyway, that's
could
up
be
to him.
forward. Yes, yes,
That's
yes,
okay, fine. So yes, sir, your views about how should this
absolutely.
question be viewed?
So it is a challenge for the simple reason it is a challenge for the child also. A
Hmm.
teenager's life itself is a challenge for him because he doesn't know who he is. Neither a child nor an adult, right? He's trying to find
Somewhere
an
in
identity. He's trying to find an identity. It is that time that he will start forming peer groups, start following start getting a fan. He becomes a fan of somebody. It may be a film actor, it may be a rock band, because he wants to identify himself with somebody so that he gets an identity. He is also in a crisis because he wants to know what he is going to become. So in all this, if the parents don't understand that this change is happening in him, we will still continue to treat him as a child, and which will not work. You get it? At that time, no, we somehow made them listen to us because of our authority, not because it was right. They listened to us because we had the authority. Now that authority is slowly losing off. They want to express themselves and they're expressing it in different ways. Now, unless the parent understands, at this time, you should start treating your child as a friend. It cannot be like a small child. You can't impose your views there. So if you have an open to open talk with your child at this point of time, he will express himself. Otherwise, he will not express and you will not know what is happening in the child. And that's a challenge. That's a challenge.
Absolutely. Yes, I think what you're saying is right. Mr. Girish, you know that, when we were in our teenage group, that was something like, I should say, 30 years back. I can say that when I was in teenage level, we never heard of, parent counseling, child counseling, and things like that.
Right.
But today it is pretty common. This was
Right.
not heard 2 or 3 decades ago, that
Absolutely.
there are counseling centers. I'm sure if there are counseling centers, there is probably a need for a counseling center. That's why they are existing.
Absolutely.
What exactly has happened in last 20 or 30 years? Why do we face this real task and a real challenge? ऐसा क्या हुआ है पिछले इतने 20 या 25 सालों में या 30 सालों में कि इतना सारा बदलाव आ गया है that parents feel a need of either taking themselves to the counselor or taking their children to the counselor?
Correct. Now, one is 20, 30 years before, we had a situation wherein we had a system called a joint family system, or we had neighbors who were there with us at any point of time. As a child, my mother would not hesitate saying, take care of Girish for 3 years till I go and come, when I was a child. But today we do not have that because we have started living in isolation. And both the parents now, after in the recent maybe 5 or 10 years, it is in most of those, both the parents are working, correct? The grandparents are not there with them. And the child is there alone. At this time, and for a child, he needs only 2 things. And if we are able to take care of these 2 things, we need not go to a counselor. It is the child needs attention, child needs affection. And if I should add the third one, it needs appreciation. Now, when the child misses all these things, it doesn't know where it has to go. Correct? Parents are busy. Parents are not able, they're providing things to the child, but they are not able to know what the child actually needs internally. And that's a big problem. And then naturally, parents are also very having problem dealing with the children because they are also too busy. They have their financial pressures. They have to make their ends meet. And at the same time, they are not able to know the right need of the child because they're not able to spend time with them. My only thing is if parents spend quality time with children, this will not be needed at all. We are not spending quality time, but we are providing materials thinking that it is a substitute for us, which will not work. Right? So our joint family system, which was there earlier, our friends which were there earlier, today it is not there. We live in isolation, and even parents who are there at home today are not able to spend that quality time with children. So that need of affection, appreciation, and attention, the child is not getting. And that's where the need for counselors come. My actually aim is to make every parent a counselor to their child, every parent a coach to the child. So when the child is in a very bad situation, you should act like a counselor. And when the child needs guidance, you should be a coach. So if every parent is able to do that, I think we'll not have so many psychological problems outside.
While I just speak to you now, there is a term which is very, commonly heard in our systems. And actually, even I faced this problem with my parents, and I'm sure you would have faced it too, when that was about 20 or 30 years ago. We heard of a term, generation gap.
Correct.
In fact, this is also there in movies when we used to watch at that time.
Yes.
Okay, generation gap is something that always existed. ऐसा नहीं है कि वो आज हुआ है. 25 साल का या 30 साल का अंतर वो हमेशा था अपने बच्चे और माँ बाप के अंदर. So पिछले कुछ सालों में ये जनरेशन गैप वहीं का वहीं है. 25-30 years has remained 25-30 years of generation gap. Now what you are trying to say is that there is a communication gap जो probably पहले नहीं था, या अगर माँ बाप काम करते थे या कुछ भी होता था तो the grandparents used to take care, or the other extended family system used to take care. That has kind of disappeared completely. That platform has disappeared.
Correct.
So this generation gap or communication gap, whatever you say, can it be bridged? It will exist. It is carrying forward since that time to today. Can it be bridged?
Right. Generation gap is going to be there. It was there and it is going to increase because the changes which are happening in the recent past, 20 or 25 years, if you see, did not happen in the last 150 years. So if people have two children, they'll find that it is there with children also. I have a daughter who's 16-year-old and another daughter who's 9-year-old. The 9-year-old is very fast in picking up technology, much more than the 16-year-old child.
The elder one.
And we will have to struggle with technology. So we say we better leave it to them. So this gap is going to come. So we will become antique pieces in their eyes very soon in terms of technology. That is going to be there and it is going to increase. The question is, can we actually let it be? Generation gap is there, it will be, but can we bridge it by using the right kind of communication? If I feel this is my child, the child has to listen to what I am saying, then it will not work. As a father, I am responsible for my child, but I don't have authority over my child. That has to be very, very clearly understood. That's a complete different individual. And once we start looking at it as a complete different individual, then things will start easing out. Then our communication will change. Yes. So that is what we have to keep in mind very clearly, that that's not something of my property. No, मैं आपका बाबू, मैं जो बोल रहा हूँ करो. And that's one style. There is other style where they say, I did not have anything, let my child do whatever it wants. That is also wrong. Right? So that happens. In my childhood, I did not have anything. So I feel that my children should get all the things that is necessary. That is also wrong. Being over strict is also wrong. But where is the right method is how do you communicate things so that the child understands? Children understand if you tell them in the right way. That's the only difference. But we do not know how to tell them. As simple as that.
आप इससे बात कर रहे हैं तो एक छोटी सी mythological story मुझे ध्यान में आती है जो हम सब ने सुनी है, and for the benefit of everybody I would like to take just use 30 seconds of time to actually narrate that story. That comes from Mahabharata. Everybody knows when Arjuna is trying to mention a story about how he learned how to form a Chakravyuh to his wife when his wife is expecting a son or expecting a child, and how to चक्रव्यूह की रचना कैसे की जाती है, ये सारा स्टोरी जो है ये उनके गुरु द्रोणाचार्य ने सिखाया था, और ये सारी स्टोरी उनको बताई जा रही है when Draupadi is only expecting a child, that is, the child is in the womb.
Right.
He's not yet out, so he cannot listen. But in the meanwhile, while the story is being narrated, she could not listen to the full story about how Chakravyuh should be formed and get out of it. She sleeps. Yes. She sleeps, and at a later point of time, the whole story gets worked out like this, that चक्रव्यूह में घुसना तो आ गया अभिमन्यु को, लेकिन उसमें से बाहर कैसे निकलना है आया नहीं. What I am trying to come out, moral of the story is like this, that at that point also there is some listening, there is some participation, there is some hearing which the child did while in the womb of the mother itself. Okay. Absolutely. So children sometimes we feel or we parents sometimes feel that ये बच्चा छोटा है, इसको कुछ समझ में नहीं आएगा, इसे छुपा दो या झूठ बोल दो या ये करो या और वो करो, फिर and suddenly you see that he inherited something from me which I never wanted. I never, I never thought that he will take it up from me. But that's the environment which I created. I am responsible for this, and he took it from me.
Absolutely.
That's a lesson which we must learn. That while we feel the child is only a 1-year-old child, what will he know? But he copies so many things from the environment that we try to offer to him.
Absolutely.
And in fact, इसी में से एक बात और निकलती है, especially on case of teenage format. हम बोलते हैं कि बच्चा पहली बार आके हमसे झूठ बोलता है और माँ और बाप आपस में डिस्कस करते हैं, आज इसने पहली बार झूठ बोला है, अब ये बच्चा बड़ा हो गया है. यानी कि उसको दुनिया की समझ आ गई है कि ये कुछ झूठ बोल के कुछ ज्यादा अचीव किया जा सकता है जो सच बोल के नहीं हो सकता था. That's why उसने झूठ बोला.
Correct.
Anyway, this is where the children grow up, and that need not happen only when he's at 12 or 13 years of age. That could happen at 7 or 8 years, much earlier than that. Anyway, you mentioned, sir, about the parents' attention most of the time getting into pampering the child or arranging materialistic items. सुविधाओं को arrange करना कि होड़ में हम सब लग जाते हैं. But eventually, even if you realize at any point of time that the child was getting pampered or is getting pampered, and you certainly try to withdraw it, they start showing withdrawal effects. They rebel.
Yes.
Against हो जाते हैं हम लोगों के. ऐसा क्यों होता है?
Yeah. And let me tell you, this is not the case with teenagers. It happens with a 1-year-old child also. And today, the 1-year-old child's withdrawal thing is the mobile. Parents actually cannot feed their children without showing mobile now.
Yeah.
You're getting the point. And we have made them accustomed to certain things. And when we take it out, it becomes a problem. And even a 1-year-old child knows the threshold where the parent will break. And it will do everything till the parent breaks. And the parent at some time will say, okay, Baba, why he is crying? Let him not cry. You take the mobile. That is his strategy. He learned the strategy. He will continue with the strategy. And we are part to blame for it, because once the child is going to school, and if the child asks, Daddy, I need a pencil, we will get him a full pencil box. Dad, I need only black sketch pen for that particular day. I will bring him 24 color sketch pen and give him. And he realized that things are easy in life. Now, the same child, when he becomes a teenager and asks the father, I want a Yamaha bike, will I go and give him a Hayabusa? No, I won't. But the same thing I taught him when he was small. See, what we should understand is, it is not my affordability that is doing the things. It is whether it is appropriate or not. When the child is small, I can afford his things. I can afford a toy, correct, which he asks. And after 2 days, he will not touch the toy. Third day, he will ask for a new toy. We will give him. Fourth day, he will not touch that toy. We have taught him that. So it is very important to know is not to yield to everything that the child asks, because it is experimenting with your tolerance level. And it understands your tolerance level. And if you have to break it, you can break it, but it will take some time. What you need to do is, if you say that some things cannot be given, just don't give it, and just don't bother to look at that area. He may jump, he may die, he may go and try and hit his head on the wall. It is okay. Only see that he does not physically get hurt. 4 times he will try. 5th time he'll understand, Mera dadagiri nahi chalega. He will understand it. But are you willing to keep that is the question. We break. We can't afford to see a child crying. Correct? But it is made a strategy. And as the child grows bigger and bigger, it becomes even more difficult for us. Because everything is easy today. I am hungry, thak, Swiggy, khana aa gaya. Correct? So there was an experiment, if I can take just 20-25 seconds. Earlier, they did an experiment called marshmallow test. It was in the 1960s, wherein for small children, they made an experiment. They gave all children and put them in one single room separately, and they told them, we'll give you one chocolate, marshmallow chocolate. If you eat it now, you will not get anything. But if you wait for 15 minutes, I'll give you another chocolate. And the child was alone in the room. And what they found was, since the child was alone, it looked here, there, here, there, here, there. Most of the children ate the chocolate. Few of them did not eat the chocolate. And they made an experiment to study these children for the next 15 or 20 years. They found that the children who did not eat and waited for some time, they actually became very successful in life. That means if you're able to delay your gratification, Even if there is a need for your child, try to delay it for some time. It will know the importance of waiting, which we are not doing. We have given extra. 100 रुपए का चीज मांगा तो 400 रुपए का दे दिया immediately, right? And that is where this habit starts, and they will make tantrums for it. Now, if you say no, it should be no. Na matlab na. They will do all these things. 4 times you do, they will stop it. They will stop it.
And that must be starting not when they've entered the teenage, but when they are still in the,
Yes,
much earlier than that.
Much
when they're
earlier,
still in the
much
childhood.
earlier. That's why I said nobody gets into teenage suddenly. It's a
Suddenly.
transition.
It's an evolving process. It's an evolving process that takes a lot of years.
Yes.
Okay. Another point that comes to my mind here is that the students, and I'm talking about the children who are into studentship. There are children who are in a class of 30 or 40 students in every class at every level. There would be students who are bright. There will be students who are average. There are students who are not so bright. And
Right.
that happens starting from nursery standard over to the 12th standard. This kind of composition
Yes.
is not unique. It's not abnormal. This happens in every country.
Yes.
ऐसा नहीं कि दिल्ली में होगा तो बॉम्बे में नहीं होगा, बॉम्बे में होगा तो न्यूयॉर्क में नहीं होगा, ऐसा नहीं है. हर क्लास में ऐसे बच्चे होते हैं जो हम जिसको नालायक बोलते हैं, कुछ एवरेज होते हैं और कुछ बहुत इंटेलिजेंट होते हैं. इवेंचुअली ऐसा देखा गया है. Is there a link between I should directly come to the point actually. Is there a link that you foresee between education performance and the child's behavior? If the education performance has been average or below average, he gets into bad company, bad habits. And if it is above average and great, he remains in a good company. I mean, do you see that there is a relationship?
I'm getting the point. Both can be correlated. There was also another experiment, I'll tell you what was done. A group of 10 students, when they were in the 5th standard, randomly selected 10 students in a class and told the teachers, these students we found out that they are exceptionally good and they have chances of doing exceptionally well when they reach the higher standards. Randomly selected. Now, this thought went to the teacher's mind. They started looking at these children as probable children who could be very successful. They started talking to them in the way unconsciously these children became successful.
Okay.
So now every thought, when we say that ye nalayak hai, even that happens. No, some set of teachers also say that these 10 people, you be careful, they are notorious fellows. Now that teacher will take this in the mind and start acting with these children as notorious children only. Your act, your words, your thoughts, everything will be like, they will tend to become like that. It is very few children who have their own mind, which become theirs, but it is what you tell them, what you do to them. And also I told you, children need attention, correct? And where they get attention, at the same time, if they see that there is a teacher who is telling, ye tu nalayak hai, tu waste hai, something, he is getting attention for that. He will do all things to make the teacher tell him he is nalayak more and more. You're getting the point? So that is how it is interlinked. So the behavior and performance is linked, and it is vice versa also. You can change it at any point of time. Depends on what people are telling and what they are taking inside. And we all look at only results, no, the final results. We are not looking at the efforts of any child. If we can make a system wherein you appreciate for efforts of the child, no child will be bothered about the results. Now they are tensed about results because we are only looking at results. 10th में कितना आया? आपको मेरे दोस्त के बच्चे से ज्यादा मार्क आना चाहिए क्योंकि मेरा ईगो हर्ट हो जाएगा. Correct, no? So that is where things actually play. So for this, what you need to do is you need to divide their work into small chunks, appreciate them for what they have done as effort, not the final result. Not the final result. Right?
Actually, let me just reverse the question. There is I asked you, there is a relationship between education performance and child's behavior. The child gets into a bad company because of a bad performance in education or academics, whatever he's undergoing. Well, let me reverse the question. That there is something that he is doing there. Let me go deeper into that. Why is his education performance bad? Because every child is eventually, born to do something. He has his passion, whether he says that or not. Now, is it some kind of a force which is applied by the system or by parents to learn something that he's not interested in? Therefore, his performance is bad, and therefore his behavior goes bad.
Could be. Because see, all cannot understand in a particular format that is being taught. Correct, no? There are some people who learn in a better format. probably the education system that is being implemented in schools or something, this particular student might not be interested in that format. Not that he is not intelligent. Probably you change the format, you might be able to get him to that level. So if I say about Byju's, though there are a lot of people who have done exceptionally well by taking Byju's classes, but that format did not work for my daughter. Though she scored very well, that format did not work because there's a lot of visualization in that, which she is not able to comprehend. So it's probably the format. And it does not mean that a low academic performance can go to bad company. No. It is when you don't get the right kind of attention, you go to place where you get attention, as simple as that. आपको attention कहाँ मिलता है, आप वहीं पे जाओगे.
आपको attention कहाँ मिलता है, appreciation कहाँ मिलता है, आपको जो कि आपको चीजें अच्छी लगती हैं, किसी भी बच्चे को अच्छी लगेंगी, वो वहाँ पे चला जाएगा. So whether it is he doesn't care whether it is no bad habit or not so good habit, whatever, he doesn't care. He gets into that. Actually, there is one product I must mention here, which as a company, TASA Asia also, offers this for students, for children and students. Actually, that can be taken at any age group. And I will request admin to, open up a slide that talks about this kind of thing. It is, as you and all the audience can see this, we call this as career path. We kind of, this is a scientifically researched methodology that we use under the brand name with the name Career Path for creating or for identifying what exactly your passion is or what has God made you for. It is not necessary that everybody gets into, everybody can become a research scientist just because his parents were research scientists. That's not necessary. I would like to become a good doctor just because my father was a good doctor or is a good doctor. Cannot be possible. So I may be a good engineer or any other profession. I can be a fantastic chartered accountant, but I cannot be a good doctor. So what is the good, actually the factual projection for you or forecast for you, we cannot figure it out in any way. So if the parents try to force him into a profession just because they were successful in that profession, and there's a whole, the system created, a good hospital created because I and my wife were good, doctors. So we created bigger hospital, 150-bed hospital, and that I want my son to run at later point of time. But he has no interest in medicine. He has no interest in, either professing medicine or, consulting anybody on medical profession. He doesn't have any interest, but he could be a fantastic investor, a real estate investor, for example. What is the right profession for him? What is the right passion for him? We don't know how to find that out. So what we do under this product is we do brain mapping of the child. We use the scientifically researched personalized goal-based education planning is performed on the student, on the child, to find out what the right thing is about what could go for him. So what emerges out of that is what is the right education platform for him, what would be the right career pattern for him, therefore, and how his life could move on at a later point of time. We have seen cases that if they are forced upon to do something that he does not like, he gets into a suicidal tendencies, etc. We don't want that to happen to our children. So it is, good to do take some kind of professional help to get the brain mapping done and to, create a personalized and goal-based education planning chart and a career chart for him. So I just thought I'll mention that here again while we were talking about. If that is done, we can save a lot of the rift which happens between the children and the family. All right, admin, you can take the slide out. Okay, we discussed about certain problems, Mr. Girish. Let's try to explore what could be probably the right way to go ahead in life. As a parent, the couple always wanted to enjoy the journey of bringing up a child from infancy or from the day he was born to the first baby steps that he started taking. Everybody started enjoying the couple itself and the family and extended family. We started celebrating birthdays and everything that happened to enjoy those baby steps that happened for the first 3, 4, 5, 6 years of life. In this life journey, at some point of life, this becomes, or people start taking this as a burden as the child grows up, mostly academic, but it could be non-academic also. Why does this happen, sir? And what should be done if you have any guidance for parents?
Yeah, as I told you, actually, there are only 2, 3 things which need to be done. The moment you think that the child is an individual, not your own, you will have no problem. Now, what happens is, as long as the child does not question me, Its walking is good, its running is good, its laughing is good. But once it starts scratching on the wall, it becomes a problem, right? Once it starts running and throwing things around, it becomes a problem. But we should understand that children are born to be chaotic. They are not bound. Then we could have had robots. I tell everybody, if you want obedient children, have robots at home, no? Robots give a key, they listen exactly. But if you're able to know that the child is doing what it wants, let it be. Only thing is, it is trying to explain, it wants to know a lot of things. The moment it starts asking some things which is not as per what I believe is right, I have a problem. You get to the point. Now, whatever I believe is right for me, probably, but not for that child. So if we are able to understand that, if we are able to talk to the child in that manner, and then things will be okay. I told you, two types. Do what I say because I'm my son, or do whatever you want because I did not have a good life. Both ways are wrong. Both ways are wrong. You need to have that middle path of
So the
being able
balancing it out in an appropriate way.
Yes.
I know, actually, I'll repeat those two words, the communication gap and the generation gap. I'm 35 years old. My child is just about 5 years old, for example. Now this communication gap is bound to happen. How do you bridge that up? So there is a challenge which everybody faces. So the child cannot grow up to come to the level of 30 years, but the parent has to, he doesn't have a choice. He has to come down to that level of what is interpreted rightly to the child, and therefore create that bridge. उसी को बच्चा बनना पड़ेगा, बच्चा तो बड़ा होगा नहीं.
No, he cannot. Only after the teenage world, probably you can think in that adult level. Otherwise, you have to take do things what the child needs. So what they say is, in the first 2 years, you have to take care of whatever the need of the child is. No, because that time it is hunger and all these things. No, it needs attention, it needs cuddling, it needs. At that time, you have to provide it. That is the time it starts believing people. In that time, if there was nobody, parents who are not there, it was in the nanny was taking care. It did not get food in the right time. It did not get huggings in the right time. It did not get care. It will stop trusting other people. Right? So that is important at that point of time. Then later, if you have to actually even discipline the child, where the mistake happens is, when I discipline the child, because children do acts which are not appropriate at many points of time. Correct, that is. But when I discipline the child, it is important for me to communicate to the child that what you have done is wrong, but not that you are wrong. You may even tell the child, see, I don't like the act that you did, but don't say that you are like this. You too nalayak hai. You will always scribble. Yeah. You are untidy. You are disorganized. You are hurting the child directly. It will bring a rift between the parent and the child on a consistent basis.
I think that's a wonderful advice. The person is not bad. His doing is bad. So his doings need to be improved. That's right.
ये जो आपने किया वो गलत है.
वो गलत. आप गलत नहीं
करो, बाद में उसको पकड़ो, हक करो, किस करो. To tell him that I am there with you. और ये 2 दिन बात नहीं करने का, वैसा नहीं करने का. Because it needs affection. Tell him what is right. At the same time, show that you love him like anything. No problem. Nothing will happen. Nothing will happen. That is where we miss out. We fire left, right, center, tell him all these things and go off. 2 days, that fellow has to wait. Even 3rd day, you go and hug him, he'll come because he wants that love and affection.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah. All right. The next question, I would like to, admin to help me out with, mid-session poll number 2. That goes for 30 seconds. It's come on your screen. I'll request the participants to please participate in to answer this question quick, 30 seconds only. Just please be a little quick. 10 seconds already passed. Mr. Girish, I'm going to ask you what's the right way to look at this.
Yes.
But first, let's understand what the audience says about it. Okay, I think it's done. People who are on the Facebook, etc., also would have seen the question. Does your child discuss his or her problems with you? Yes and no. Or when he comes to you with a problem, do you solve the problem? Do you ignore the problem? Or do you handhold him for something? So what is the right way of doing it, sir? First, what should be the interpretation according to you, sir, on the first question? If the child came and discussed problem with you, what does it mean? If he does not come, what does that mean?
if the child is coming and discussing everything with you, means the parent and the child has a very open communication. That is, the parent is not an inspector at home, only asking, "Aaj tune kya kiya? Aaj tune kya pada?" All these kind of questions, then the child will not discuss anything.
Yes,
If the
sir.
parent is open, mother and father is telling whatever happened in their lives, no, they went out today, what happened. If you're openly talking to your child, the child will openly talk to you. And this is a very important thing that we need to do. Let us talk to our children without asking them how they are, what they are, and all these things. Just openly talk. So that means that parents and child has a very good communication. First point. Second one was, yeah, there are very protective parents who do not want their child to do anything. They want them to do everything for the child. Because mera bacha, what prince, no, he's my prince, ladla hai. So I don't want him to struggle. Even if he has to put a shoelace when he's small, you do it. Even when he's big, he's teenage, if he has to go and do some work in the bank, I will go and do. I will not do anything.
That's actually the question number 2.
Yes,
So
yes.
admin, if you have the results, you could please compile the results and display on the screen about how this will be taken. So there is a second situation when he comes to the problem. That's how people have looked at it, sir.
Yeah, you teach him to handle it with your guidance. Absolutely.
Okay, so the first case, there are 18%, actually 2 cases only, where the problem is that the child does not come to you.
Okay. Yeah. Probably what the people
and the second point is almost 100% entered by everybody as yes, they don't want. There's somewhere in the middle, actually.
Correct. So they understand that it's not important to do things for them. It is important for us to make them understand how to do, and they have to do. And for the 2 people who say that children do not open up, you can try a small technique. If they are teenagers, for the next 10 or 15 days, when you're with your child, probably at the dinner table or something where all of you are together, just to talk about what happened in your life. Don't expect anything from them. If you have not done it earlier, probably they'll think, "Mera father suddenly pagal ho gaya." Okay, it's okay. But after some time, I'll tell you, after 15 days, you will be surprised that your child will open up to you just like that. Talk, don't ask. Talk, don't ask. Just tell what happened to you. That child will start coming and telling whatever happened in their lives also. Simple.
मैं आपसे यही पूछना चाहता हूँ। तो मेरे को एक अपने फ्रेंड की बात याद आती है कि is there a way to know if the child remains quiet, he does not approach you, that he has an issue or he has a problem, etc. So, what is the best way to know if is there anything going on in his mind or not? What is the best way to communicate? Not as a spy, but as a responsible parent. I don't want to spy. जासूसी नहीं करनी है मुझे अपने बच्चे की.
Correct.
भरोसा करना है. लेकिन as a responsible parent, what should I do?
So if you see a sudden change in behavior, correct? No, if the child was jolly, happy for some time, suddenly it is becoming recluse. It is sitting alone, not mingling, and you understand it. It is very important to go and sit with the child and say that for the last few days, I'm feeling that there is something disturbing you. Can you tell me what is that disturbing you? And don't worry, I'll be there with you. Now, what happens is, sometimes earlier, if we would have told that if you get into this kind of company, see, I'll throw you out of the house. If I told that, he will not open. Now, the child needs to get the complete feeling that if anything wrong happens, my parents are there with me. That feeling is there, they will open up. They will open up. If they don't open up, what will happen? If they are into bad company, and because of peer pressure, they will be pulled into that bad company. And if they don't open up to you, probably you will not know what is happening also. So important to talk to them, sit with them, and I'm finding that there is something. Tell me what is there something that is disturbing you, right? And you can also tell that in my college days, I also had all these kind of experiences. I can actually tell you what is the right thing to do, right? So openly talk to them and tell them that I'll be there with you. That is very important. Not that if I know you did wrong, I'll throw you. Then nothing will open up. Nothing will open up.
हमारे बच्चों को गिरीश जी ऐसा होता है कभी-कभी that I feel I am right in suggesting what is right for the child, and the child feels no, he's substantiating his cause or his reasoning, and he feels he's right, I feel I am right. So there is an ego, and this 3-letter word is a very strong word, and it goes on in everybody, especially the young blood takes it very, very seriously, and he wants to prove that he's right despite being wrong.
Correct.
Smoking a cigarette or taking drugs or anything else, he wants to say that he's right because there are 20,000 people, others that have seen it, the effect through that has come to him through Bollywood or other films, etc. He wants to say he is right despite not being right, and the parents want to say that they are right. So how do you balance this ego out?
Yeah, this is a typical teenage problem. It also comes in choosing your subjects.
The environment does not remain conducive once that gets into a discussion mode every dinner table.
Right.
Somebody will wake up. Somebody will get out.
Right. And if it has come to the notice, then it is again, as I said, have an open talk. But it's very difficult once they have got into the system and got already entangled with a set to get them back. It all depends on the kind of relationship you're maintaining with the child. You're getting the point. If the relationship with you and your child is open, frank, you can get him back. If the rift is already there, then it's a challenge to get. Now again, my ego will not permit me to actually bow down to my child. So I'll again start using that parent and child as this thing. Have an adult to adult talk with that with your child. But again, it depends on what is the relationship you had in the coming years. If that was conducive, they will definitely listen to you. If they know that you are there with them, they will definitely listen to you. Absolutely, there is. If there is a gap there, then it's a challenge. It's a challenge. But again, an open talk and ask them for what is. Do you have any valid reason for telling what you're doing is right? No, simple. Is there any evidence for what you're doing? Because I know it's difficult. But still, when you have an open talk to him and tell that you're doing all these things and you're showing it is right, can you give me any valid reasons for telling me that what you're doing is right? Right? Any valid reason. It might work, it might not, but again, it will work if your relationship with the child is good. Otherwise, it won't work. He'll say, I don't want to give reason. I am enjoying it. Khatam. Gone. So that's a challenge. That's a challenge.
All right. You see, you just mentioned some time back that there is a situation when both parents are working. So there is a double income situation, there's a double income responsibility, and everybody in the family has got used to, making that much money. And therefore the attention either remains divided or goes in a way that, that gives rise to another point that earlier when we used to live in joint family system, that if both parents are working just in case because of a need or whatever it is, there are grandparents to take care of. But right now we are into a nuclear family situation and both parents are working. So double income versus child. Now, on one side, we both want to work, husband and wife, to bring in more money into the system because we have become materialistic in our approach. And on the other side is development of the child or nurturing of the child. So when both parents work, the child either learns to become independent in a good sense and sometimes in a bad sense. He gets influenced with whoever surrounds him. So whether that could be the caretakers, the guardians, or nobody. Either way, it can happen. What is your view?
Both parents working is inevitable now. Most of the families work. But when you are there at home, what is it that you're communicating to the child? If the child feels that my parents are working only to get money and I am not an important aspect in their life, that's a problem. That's all. Attention, affection, appreciation. And that should be genuine. If that is not genuine and it is being only replaced by all material things, then you have a problem. That parents have to genuinely take a conscious decision to say that, yes, we will spend time with our child genuinely. Is that happening or no? Or we thought that we'll work till night, child will also sleep, grandfather is taking care of my child, then grandfathers and grandparents' influence will be there and they will over pamper the child. It's natural. It's natural. Correct? Because they have all the time, and that's where we need to, parents cannot be replaced. And that we have to understand, even if we are working, not working, at least that open communication should be there whenever we are there with the child, So that's very important. Good. And also it does not mean that if the grandparents, the children are with grandparents, that always they will be over pampered, because there was a scientific research which said that children who spend a lot of time with their grandparents, I'm not saying alone completely, they actually develop to become much more matured.
Yeah, that's what I said. That it can work either way. They can become independent in a good sense. They will become independent in a wrong way. We don't know what the child will inherit or what kind of surroundings will affect him more or less. We don't know.
Yes, it all depends on how much time the parents are spending with him after they come back from their materialistic world. No, that is very important. That's very important. After you come back from all way, what is the quality time that I'm living? What is that I'm communicating with him? Right? If it is that my pura काम करता हूं so that you enjoy your future, I am working day and night so that I build an empire for you, that's not what he wants. Correct? No, I am working fully, I don't have time so that I will make a future for you so that you inherit. That does not make any sense with him. Even if it is once in a week, if you're busy, that once in a week should be enough for him to understand that, yes, my father is going to be there with me. Yes, that's enough. But even if that is not there, then that's not acceptable. That's not acceptable.
All right. I have some of my friends who got into some known families actually. There is a situation of a family emergency, and I can extrapolate that to a different format. Also, the family emergency could be the parents have lost their job.
Yes.
The father has lost it. He was the only sole earning member. He lost a job. So there could be a job transfer or loss of one parent, or the caretakers or important guardians. Typically, parents find it a challenge convincing a child to now live differently.
Yeah.
Okay, because of any financial emergency that has happened. So, what is your advice about how this kind of a situation be handled?
If it has come up at a very later stage of life, then it will take time for us to actually do it. But as child itself, if you are able to convince the child, give situations to the child that all this is not going to be the same. Correctly, even small things are not going to be the same. You keep telling them that things can change, but change is always for the better. You give examples of your friends' transfers which happen. You give examples of any death that happened with your friend. Make them understand what life is, that it's not easy. But that's what I find is not happening in today's world. We made it so easy for them, they don't even can accept a no. Correct? No, I got everything, my father and mother. And the moment I get a job, when my boss scolds me, I'm not able to accept that. So we have not made them life ready. We have made them what? Material ready, or what to call it. So that's, you need to build in their mind that things are going to change. You give examples of your own friends and relatives, because that if it happens at a later stage and you're suddenly trying to convince, it's not going to happen. Because I had that challenge of 10th when my father got transferred. We had to go from Hubli to Vijayawada. It was very painful. I cried for many days. I cried. But again, after we got into the friends, and from nursery to 10th, if you are there with the same school, same set of friends, you build the biggest bonding. And then if you have to change, it's one of the most painful experiences. But yes, we had to do it. So we need to give everything that we do to our child. We should make him life ready. Tell him about all the things that happen. See what happened today. Corona has changed everybody's life. Correct? No?
Absolutely.
So this is something which we need to communicate on a regular basis, and not on at a later stage. If it happens, it's a challenge. It is a challenge. Not that it cannot happen. It is a challenge. But you need to make the child understand. Sit with him. Talk to him. Tell him about the pros and cons, and he will understand. Again, do you have the relationship with your child to talk to your child? That's it.
Single parents situations are a little different. I'm sure probably there are some who are attending this show or who will see the recordings later. If there are situations of single parents who decide not to marry once again because their child has grown up, there's in certain phase of life, nurturing a child, especially if he's a different gender than you, so father for a daughter or mother for a son, this becomes a tricky situation about how well certain situations going forward will be handled.
Yes.
So probably I've seen certain some of the parents, if money was not a problem, they could afford it. Probably they start outsourcing nurturing of a child, which means sending them to hostel or boarding. Was one of the answers that came to me. So what do you have to say, sir?
This is a situation which you have to look in two aspects. One is, are you doing this because you want to get rid of the child? Or are you doing this because you want the child to become independent? That has to be very clear, and that has to be communicated to the child. Because if the child feels that now my mother or father is thinking that, okay, they want to get rid of me, then it will have a negative impact on the child. But if you're able to tell the child that you have to work, you're not able to spend time with the child when the child is there in the hostel, it will be better and it can become independent. There are a lot of benefits for being in the hostel, but it's not for everybody. It's not for your mind mapping will actually help in this. Know the traits of the child, and there are certain particular group of children who hostel can be much better, but not for everybody.
Not for everybody.
So your mind map, you will find. I think that you find the traits of the children, right? What personality traits they have. Is that what you do in the mind mapping?
Yes, as one of the aspects of this.
Yes, yes. So if you find that a child has a particular trait wherein it cannot stay individual, that is, it's a very introvert person, not a very outgoing person, hostel will not work for the child. But if you find that the trait of the child is okay, it can be alone, it can be with company, it can be, then hostel will work for the child. So you can't say that, yes, if it is a single mother, send it. No. Situation also matters, because I'll give you an example of my cousin itself, who have 2 daughters, and they decided to send both the daughters to hostel for the simple reason, so that they become independent, confident and all. And they had a lot of people in their family who were army people. So they wanted them also to be independent. But unfortunately, that didn't happen, and his wife expired because of cancer. Now these 2 daughters are there, and his job is in a newspaper wherein he has to work entire night. So he cannot take care of the child. And her parents are very old. Somebody needs to take care of them, and his parents are in different place. Only his father is there. Now in that situation, he convinced his children and he sent them to hostel. He's in Chennai, they are in Delhi. You got it? But what he says is, I don't want only to spend one Sunday as a father. Now they are there 1 month. I will spend entirely with them, so that I give them all the things that I can. Because there is no, he cannot do it now. He's working entire night as a newspaper creative head. Daytime he will not. He'll probably be there when they are in school. So he cannot take care of that, right? So if you ask me, is this right? Is this wrong? There is no single answer to it. It is situational based. It is situational based, and some situations might force you to do things which probably you do not like to do, but situation has forced you to do, right? So, but your personality traits test will actually help in identifying.
Will help to identify which way.
Otherwise, that hostel can be a nightmare for the child. Nightmare for the child.
I'll on a exactly a related topic, actually. Not exactly, but let me just speak it out for you, because that comes to my mind right now. Children of successful parents face a challenge of being equally successful or even better. Now, if I have a very fantastic career for myself and for my wife, and the children unknowingly or knowingly will inherit that kind of pressure, I should say. So how should the parents deal with this?
How is the parent dealing with it is what you should ask me. Now, if the parents are telling the child always that, see, we have been really successful, I expect you to be better than me, then it's a problem. Now, if the child itself feels that, yes, let me try with his own thing without a parental pressure, that will be a positive pressure that makes him do things. But if constantly parents are only telling him, see, already humko dunya mein, what you say, no, society mein itna naam hai, hamara naak mat katwao, all these things, it becomes a negative pressure for him, right? And there you have to, I would say, leave the child on its own. Do not pressurize him to tell that you need to be successful as I am, because there it is you who's coming to the picture, and parenting is not about you, it is about the child, right? So if he is taking it in a normal way or automatic way where he wants to do, and he tries to be successful, that is okay. But if you are pressurizing him, then that's a problem. Then that's a problem. Because you are not looking at the child. Yeah.
That's right.
That's what happens in most places, no?
You know, sometimes it happens the other way around also. You know, I was brought up in a certain situation or circumstance for myself with my parents. Okay? So that sometimes what I do is I lay down that as a benchmark and then try to do some upbringing for my child.
Right.
Now, my circumstance and situation at that time, 50 years ago, 40 years ago, was different. The family was at a particular middle class family, upper middle class family, lower middle class family, I don't know. Yeah. But that becomes a benchmark. मुझे जैसे पाला गया था और मैंने कुछ अपने माइंड में फ्रेम किया कि मुझे ये करना है और ये नहीं करना है, दोनों तरफ से. It can be both ways out, you know. That becomes a benchmark, and then I deal with my next generation, that is my children. Is this right? Is this benchmark setting right, or you want to give another outlook to this?
I would say no, it is not right, for the simple reason the child is a completely different person. I told you, the moment we understand that that is an individual who has come through us, that's all. He has not put an application, oh, Girish, I want to be your daughter. My daughters have not put. They came through us, matter closed. They have their own individuality. I should be able to make their individuality flourish. That's my job. As simple as that. if I have an apple seed and I expect it to become an orange, it will not happen. It will not happen. And the problem is each child, we don't know what it can happen, what it can become. At least when we see an apple seed, we know it's going to become an apple tree, or we have an orange seed. Here we don't know. But we are imposing things on it, assuming that what I'm doing is right. That is absolutely wrong. That is absolutely wrong. We cannot have. We cannot have. Our job is to provide the environment where the child flourishes. Matter close. It's up to the child may decide to do nothing also. That's its problem. How long will you take responsibility for a child? Correct? No, it's like making them do that small work. No, I will make my child responsible. That's our job. But will I take responsibility for what he should become? No. And the moment I start doing it, children may accept because we are father and mother, but they may not like it. They may not like it.
Yes, you're right, actually, because sometimes what happens is I come from a different environment when I was brought up. My wife comes from a different environment when she was brought up. So the benchmarks may be clashing, be similar. We don't know.
Yes.
So there is a role which father will play, there is a role which mother will play, and probably in a different manner. So ideally, I think we should ignore what you're trying to say is ignore whatever has happened in the past and lay down fresh benchmarks and then carry on with life. This is what you're trying to say.
Provide them the environment, they will grow. And your psychometric tests, which you're doing, will show what stream they should take. And then send them and let them do what they want. As simple as that.
Absolutely fine.
As simple. Do not impose any of our thoughts on them. Then what happens? You're forcing. No, you're forcing. And forcing is wrong. Forcing is wrong. You know?
That's right. That's right.
That's
in today's
challenge which parents will not accept. I know. They won't accept it. But the moment you start accepting it, you will understand that things become very easy. I'm not saying don't impose discipline. I'm not saying that don't impose values. I'm not saying all those things. Those things are there. But your idea on that other individual is absolutely wrong. That's a fact which very people find it difficult to digest.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. I have a particular situation which is being foreseen today in a very different context by children. That is technology, understood different way by parents, that is our generation, and different way by our children. Children cannot avoid usage of technology. But the content, sometimes it's censored, sometimes not censored. Anyway, you cannot avoid it, you cannot control it. That opens a world of many right and wrong content that child may open in his hands. You cannot say no, you cannot say right. So what is how do you balance it out? You have any suggestions for the parents?
I think at least till they are in 10th, you can have a control. But once you can have parental controls, you can have website blocks, you can do all these things. But once they are into college, then it's very tough to actually impose restrictions on them. But you have to be aware what is happening with your child. And one thing every parent should know, that once they are teenagers, whether it is my son or my daughter, there is a possibility of him or her doing all the experiments which that age experiment. That consciousness should be there in us. So if there's any change in behavior, if you already have a room separate for our children and they lock themselves up at every point of time, then you have no control. Correct? But if there is an open place and you know what your children are viewing and you know what they only find out if their change in behavior is happening consistently. And then you need to sit and talk to them. You can't avoid after they are in college any kind of media, but you can be consciously aware of what they are doing, if there is any change in behavior. And the only thing that you can do is put them in creative activities or some work which is happening, which they can do. If they are not into creative activity, if they are not into physical activity, in the sense physical exercises, if they are not spending time on the other academic things, and they are always on this, then it's a teacher sign. You need to be with them. Right?
Right.
That's yes.
I'll request admin to put mid-session poll number 4 directly. That's talking about admission of a child on in a hostel. Mid-session poll number 4. This is for the audience to bring a sense of independence if you can afford. Would you send your child to hostel or boarding school? This is with a positive perspective. I want to inculcate the habit of making my child independent. 30 seconds for you. Say yes or no, or never thought about it. All right, time is up. Okay.
Yes, yes.
There are some people who say yes, there are some people who say no, and there are some people who say never thought
Never
about
thought
it.
of it. Yeah.
Now, this is from a positive perspective. What do you have to say, sir? Whether this should be taken in which way it should be taken? We want to bring in certain independence on my child. We want him to not always handhold me or ask me what is right or not.
Correct.
It's a good habit that I want to build in my child. What is the right way to do?
As I told, no, it brings you independence, it brings you confidence, it improves your self-esteem when you stay in hostel. But again, at what age do you want to send? If if parents say that I want to send my child when he's in school itself, maybe 4th standard, 5th standard, I would say no. But after the 10th or after +2 for their higher education, yes, they need to go somewhere else. At that time, they are in a position to actually take care of themselves, right? 16, 17, 18, they know. Before that, they need that attention, appreciation, and affection from parents. That will be missing. Just because I want to make them independent, I'm sending them from the school itself. I don't agree with that at all. It's my personal view. It can be, but again, after the 10th or 12th, when you need to go and when you need to go for your higher education, you need to go to a different place. You need to have your absolutely no problem, because they know at that point of time that they are making a career move. But in school, you want to send them to a hostel to make them independent. I don't think it's my personal view. It's my personal view. No?
All right, we are almost.
Circumstances, as I told, unless there are circumstances which actually force you to do, there is only one person working in odd times, you don't have anybody to take care. That's a circumstance. Again, affordability is not the question for anything. Like I told you in childhood, because I can afford, I buy everything for my child, is wrong there itself. It's not about affordability. It is about appropriateness at any point of time, not about affordability.
Okay, good. Sir, we are almost at the end of the program, but I have certain broad takeaways if you can give for how to build in values or sanskar in children and teenagers, young adults, whatever you want to say. How do you bring in values to them? What is your advice to the parents?
If I smoke and I expect my child not to smoke, I can't bring that value. If I don't light a lamp at home and I want my child to be religious, it does not happen. If I am disorganized at home and I want my child to be organized, it does not happen. Children see and learn. So the values that you are building is being seen and observed, as simple as that. If I treat my servant nicely, if I treat my security person with love and respect, my child will learn love and respect. But if I find a person who actually shouts at everybody, I shout at my wife, I shout at my child, and I want my child to be very polite with others, it does not happen. Values, sanskars happen by children seeing and observing what you do. They are the biggest mimicry artists. No, children are mimicry artists. They mimic whatever you do. They don't mimic what you tell. No, that's why my bol round to ye karo nahi hoga. They see and they automatically develop that habit of whatever you are doing. So that can be done only if you are actually doing it. How much of it? Why moral science classes don't work? You have moral science class in every school, no? And then they tell all the moral values, but it does not work because nobody is seeing you doing that. Yeah. So let them see what you're doing. As simple as that. That's all. Simple.
As a final take for the viewers, Mr. Girish, would you like to summarize your guidance and secret for positive parenting for the new generation?
Yeah, absolutely. I have very, very, very few takeaways. Your children are born through you. They don't belong to you. I know it's very tough. Khalil Gibran's poetry, one of the favorite things, favorite poetries of mine, where he said that your children are born through you. They do not belong to you. So do not impose your values. Do not impose your ideas on them. Treat them as individuals, as separate individuals. Next, children always need attention. They need appreciation, and they need love from you. If you are not able to give that genuinely, and if you are replacing with any kind of things that you want to give them, it does not work. And once they reach teenagers, talk to them as adults with good mind, who can think rationally and who can also make their judgment based on your relationship with them. If you are not having the right kind of relationship, then the children are not bound to listen to you. And this relationship can be made at any point of time. For teenagers, it probably takes a longer time. For children, it is very easy. These are my small takeaways, as simple as that. They don't belong to you, so don't have your authority, but you have a responsibility till they can take care of themselves. You have no right to actually impose your values on them, but yes, they can see and what they do. If you do all the wrong things, they will do all the wrong things, right? And your true love and affection is there. Your children will not go away anywhere. True love and true affection, genuine. And for small things, appreciate them. Don't give them things. No, for small things that they do at home, that you find that they're doing, helping you out, appreciate them, pat them, hug them. वही चीज है, बस unconditional love, खत्म. Because no, I don't want any parent to actually at the age of probably 50 or 60 say that I did everything for my child and my child does not even call me back once. That's a wrong situation to be. Because what I think I'm doing for them, probably that's not what he wants you to do. He needs, humans need only those basic things. Unconditional love, true love, simple. Yeah.
To the audience, if they have any quick questions that we can take it, if that is not detailed and if it is possible. But otherwise, it was a very insightful session from Mr. Girish. I would like to thank him, and we would like you to be probably appearing once again sometime in future. We'd like to love to have you once again.
Sure. So,
okay, there are no more questions. 1 minute. I think there's something coming up. All right, there's nothing specific which is coming up that can be taken at this moment of time. So thank you so much, Mr. Girish. I would like to, thank you and the audience, and also announce this time that next Saturday we'll be trying to skip our session because of Ganesh Chaturthi. We will not be taking the session, but we will be, as always, we will be there every Saturday at 7:30 p.m. Same day, same time. We will not be there, as I said, not next Saturday will be closed for us. With something else, another subject will come up and we'll announce to the audience. So till then, goodbye and take care. Stay tuned.
thank you so much. Thank you. Goodbye.
Thank you.
Goodbye.